Hey, what's up guys? Back with another training vlog here, and this is the second week of me coming back and really getting back into the swing of things. So we're starting off with the upper heavy day, and this is 160 pounds, I believe. And this week I had to face the dilemma of what weights to choose. Actually, it wasn't really a dilemma. All I did was add 5 pounds to the bench, easy peasy. For the overhead press, I decided to keep the weight the same because last week it was a little bit too, I wouldn't say difficult, but it was definitely sloppy, and I wanted to make sure it's nice and tight like a tiger, and make sure it's clean before I move on and start adding weight. Speaking of adding weights, my Kegel power is getting pretty strong because I am squeezing 13 pounds between my legs and doing some pull-ups, and this is a 2-for-1, getting the most bang for my buck right here. Working the Kegel muscles and working on my pull-ups. Then I superset it with dips. I don't really like this bar because it's like V-shaped, and I found that the best way to keep my shoulders and elbows happy is to have everything nice and parallel to each other. So I like parallel bars, but that's all they have, so I gotta work with what I got. 235 pounds for 3 sets of 5 for squats, easy peasy. So even though I'm increasing the weight this time by 10 pounds for the lower body lifts, it's actually starting to feel easier, and I attribute that to just me getting used to having weight on my back again, and just me getting used to doing these lifts again. And interestingly enough, actually the third set will always feel easier than the first set. And again, I just think that's just me warming up mentally to these weights. 285 pounds with conventional and sumo deadlifts. I do the conventional first, and here's the side-by-side comparison. They look pretty similar to me, you know, they look pretty good. Pretty happy with how deadlifts are going. Pretty happy with how lower body lifts are going in general. Barbell rows, I really like this exercise. Moving on to the light portion of the week, light second half of the week. So last week I did 135 pounds, and that was way too easy. So I did make an exception, and I decided to move the weight up 10 pounds. And as you can see, it's still very easy. I'm just taking a nap here, take a little break, and boom, there we go. Overhead press. Same as the heavy day, I kept the weight the same at 85 pounds because last week it was very sloppy, and I wanted to make sure it's nice and tight and clean before I move on. And it's starting to look better. I'm swinging a lot less with my body. I'm swaying a lot less, but elbow positioning is still crap. Look at that, very sunken in. I'm kind of resting it almost like a front rack. I need to keep these elbows under the bar, but always room for improvement. There's always something to work on, always something to fix, even with the lifts that I'm good at. Chin-ups, I like to increase these to make progress on these by adding reps. So for chin-ups and dips, I like to add reps, and everything else, I just like to do it linear fashion and just add weight. But if I do decide to add weight for these higher rep movements, it's gonna get pretty crazy pretty fast. So I'm deciding to just add reps instead of weights, instead of adding weights directly. And the difference between heavy and light days, it's about 10%, but I'm not sticking strictly to that. And I've never been a fan of sticking very strictly to percentages, because, you know, maybe 10% difference for your bench press between the heavy and light days is okay, but maybe 10% is too much for, say, the squats, you know, or say for the overhead press. So you really got to tinker around and find what's right, and it's going to differ from person to person and from lift to lift. So I don't really believe in following programs super on the dot. I think they're there to guide you, but you definitely shouldn't stick exactly. If it's something says 10%, if it's like 11%, 12%, that's, you know, not a big deal. 9%, not a big deal. So this is 195 pounds for squats, high reps. I really hate high rep squats and deadlifts. I feel like when I'm doing high rep squats, I feel like I'm walking down a path of darkness with Satan, holding hands with Satan. It just feels evil. Romanian deadlifts instead of high rep deadlifts, and these really kill my glutes and my hammies. I like to counterbalance the weight by leaning really far back. Same thing with barbell rows. I open up my feet, make a V shape, and lean back on my heels so that I can counterbalance that weight in the front. And I just pull it up to around my belly button. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you next time. But until then, don't forget to put your goddamn weight away.